doing one thing is an illusion. And I think instead of this repeatedly stated idea, maybe also productivity or business idea, instead of this, I think the correct statement, or rather belief one ideally maybe repeats again and again and again, is everything is always all at once. There is no, I now focus on, let's say, making friendships, expanding my network, and not working. There is no, I now focus on sleep, but I'm not working out. There is no, I now only drink water, but I don't eat. It's absurd as soon as you begin to think about it. What does doing one thing even mean? Maybe it's one thing in terms of work, but then you realize that just because you now want to do this one thing, so in order to have success in this one thing, one targets, so in order to now achieve this one thing, but then of course what is an absolute goal anyway? Nothing, because it's about rates. It's about the first derivative, or potentially even the second, or the third, or the fourth. All things are always changing. Of course, some are changing more than others, but one needs to constantly adapt. The only thing that is similar between all of us is that we all have the same amount of time, at least within a day. So of course we don't have the same amount of time, because we don't have the same amount of health. As we don't have the same amount of health, some people might only live 5 years, and others might live 80, at least with a certain prediction accuracy, on average. Therefore, the usage of time is an incredibly complicated function. Now I focus on work for the next 3 years. That's great, but then, maybe, if one is a woman, additionally, one realizes that, well, if one only has a certain life expectancy, and only a certain fertility window, then, well, obviously I am not a woman, but also male sperm health goes down with age. So you cannot focus on one thing, because the usage of time, and time one could see as converted health. So health, one could say, is the primary currency that is then converted into time, that is then converted with a certain salary, basically the conversion factor, into money. If one then has money, one can potentially convert a little of it back into time by getting other people or entities to work for one and to do things one otherwise would have done oneself. But the conversion back into health, well, to a certain extent it already is working. Brian Johnson, hello. But then only to a certain extent. So the conversion from health into time, from time into money, is to a certain extent still unidirectional. Well, that's unfortunate. It still is. So one cannot just do one thing, because doing one thing would mean setting all the other variables that contribute to the function, that is time utilization, which essentially is just health utilization. If one does not want to set all variables to 0, and then have to realize that as soon as one does and focuses on this one variable, and as soon as one then focuses only on one